Hello and welcome to this particular presentation. In this presentation, we are going to look at the examination content and of course the relevant college or university courses to revise on in relation to essential knowledge and professional practice examination that is coming very soon. Before we proceed, make sure you click on the subscribe button. Okay. In our first segment of the video, we shall look at the course content or the areas that questions normally come from. Make sure you watch through because at the end of this video, I shall be taking you through some of the university courses or college courses you did that revising them can enable you write this examination and pass with ease. Now let's go forward. Now, essential knowledge and professional practice involves all the ideas involved in teaching and learning as well as the adherence to the various code of ethics in teaching and learning. Okay. Now, below are the contents involved. Number 1, professional values and attitudes. Number 2, professional knowledge. And of course, number 3, professional practices. We shall take them one by one and shall go through them so that you fully understand what all these 3 points are actually about. Now let's start with professional values and attitudes. Here there are 2 areas that are under it. The first one is professional self-enhancement. Okay, professional self-enhancement will soon explain what this is all about. And of course, secondly, ethics of professionalism. We shall take them one by one so that you fully understand what they are all about. Now, let's start with professional self-enhancement. Now, this particular site tests the teacher's knowledge to actually, number 1, determine relevant and measurable professional development goals to strengthen effectiveness of instruction. Now, that is all under that one. Now let's look at the second aspect under professional values and attitudes. Now the ethics of professionalism. Okay, this site tests the teacher's knowledge to actually A, apply the code of ethics and principles of professional conduct to professional and personal situations. Okay, professional and personal situations, the code of ethics. Then number 2, develop a positive teacher identity and act as a good role model. So those assessments or those questions are going to be asked based on some of these things. Now let's go to the next one, which is professional knowledge. Okay, under professional knowledge, we have 1, managing the learning environment, 2, teaching and learning, of course, and 3, assessment. Now let's take them one after the other. Let's look at managing the learning environment. Okay. Now, this aspect actually tests the teacher's knowledge to actually create and sustain a safe, efficient, and supportive learning environment. So here you are going to be asked questions based on how to effectively run your class while ensuring that the environment is safe enough and of course and is efficient and of course enables students to actually learn effectively. Okay, so classroom control is essential here. So here you normally have a lot of questions asking you about how to control the learners in a particular situation and all that. Now let's look at the other aspect, which is what the teaching and the learning aspect under professional knowledge. Now this side tests the teacher's knowledge to actually A, plan and deliver varied and challenging lessons, and B, pay attention to all learners, especially girls and students with special educational needs. This is very key, especially the aspect that says students with special educational needs. Okay, so as a teacher, you must know how to teach students that are probably intellectually challenged, okay, physically disabled, and so many others. Okay, now let's look at the third one, which is under assessment. Now, as you all know, how do you test to see whether a lesson was successful or not? Actually, you have to give them an assessment and then you evaluate, okay, to see if the lesson was actually successful. So under assessment, this side tests the teacher's knowledge to A. Actually use various types of assessment strategies that can determine student levels and needs. And again, listen to learners and give constructive feedback. Okay, listen to learners and give constructive feedback. So these aspects are very important because in assessment, remember we have various types of assessment such as formative assessment and summative assessment. Those are the key ones, but there are other ones that in subsequent discussions or videos we shall be looking at them. Now let's come to professional practice. Alright, under professional practice we have this number of areas. We have first one, knowledge of educational frameworks and curriculum, and of course knowledge of students. So these are the two key areas. If you want to be a successful teacher, the practice is the actual practicality of the teaching field. Okay, and of course your knowledge of students will be key in helping you decide which learning strategy to employ. Now let's take them one after the other. Now this aspect actually tests the teacher's knowledge to demonstrate familiarity with educational policies, school curriculum, and learning outcomes. Okay, so you must know the school curriculum. You must understand the educational policies. Okay, I think this current administration has introduced a lot of educational policies, especially policies that talk about improving the teaching and learning of ICT. And again, let's look at the knowledge of students. Okay, the knowledge of students, actually teachers are going to be assessed on the following. 1. Take account of how children develop and learn in diverse contexts and respect learners' cultural, linguistics, socio-economic, and educational background. Okay, if you have a good knowledge of your students, you will have to learn to respect them in their diversity. Okay, a classroom can be a homogeneous classroom or a heterogeneous classroom. We'll soon be looking at those ones. When we say a homogeneous classroom, we are saying that those are students of the same socio-economic background and of course with other related things surrounding the student. Okay, for instance, you go to a community whereby all the children in the classroom are Akans. We can see that that classroom is culturally heterogeneous. But you go to urban areas, let's say an urban area, and you get to realize that we have students of all walks of life, all right, from various cultural backgrounds. We say that particular classroom is culturally heterogeneous. Okay, it is what? In terms of culture, it is heterogeneous. And of course, demonstrate mastery of subject content knowledge. So your knowledge as a teacher is comprised of the following. Okay, take account of how children develop and learn in diverse contexts and respect learners' cultural, linguistics, socio-economic, and educational background. And of course, number 2, demonstrate mastery of subject content knowledge. Let's not forget, there is also a third one, which is also the technical know-how. I think we looked at that one previously under another category. Alright, because education actually talks of what to teach, how to teach, and of course when to teach. Alright, and so many other factors involved. Now let's now come to sources of the examination questions. What are some of the sources that they bring the examination questions from? Okay, if you are from the college or the university, you must have done certain educational courses. Okay, and some of these areas I'm going to mention might sound slightly different in the school you come from. Okay, but regardless, they are the same. So the first one is actually the school curriculum, social change, and national development. Okay, some of you did this particular kind of course in your first year, that's level 100, first semester. Okay, the school curriculum, you must understand the various types of curriculums involved. Okay, there are a whole lot of curriculums that we'll be discussing in our next discussion. Okay, second one is introduction to educational technology. Alright, so I think the short name is EduTech. So EduTech actually talks about so many new and innovative ways of teaching and learning in our schools nowadays. Okay, normally under educational technology, teachers are advised to use instructional modes of delivery that appeals to multiple senses, such as the sense of hearing, sense of touch, and of course even sometimes the sense of smell, as and when it is needed, especially as in the science lab. Okay, the next one is principles and practice of teacher education. Okay, this is actually where a lot of questions normally come from. The principles and the practice of teacher education is one of the courses that I think are offered in the various colleges and universities that are related to education. And of course, introduction to special education. As we discussed earlier, we spoke about how a teacher should be able to handle students with special needs. So your knowledge in introduction to special education will actually enable you bring up those children to the same level as their colleagues who are not having such challenges. And of course, introduction to guidance and counseling. As a teacher, you are supposed to also have a way of counseling students academically, environmentally, socially, and so on and so forth. So your knowledge in that is also relevant. And of course, a lot of questions do come under some of these areas. And again, introduction to measurement and evaluation, another important area. Okay, we shall be coming up with more videos on some of these areas so that you can fully understand them, and of course, and get ready for your examination. Psychology of the human development. All right, psychology of the human development and learning. Okay, then finally, trends in education and school management in Ghana. Okay, trends in education and school management in Ghana. You must be up to date, all right, concerning the current policies and educational strategies that the government of Ghana is enforcing. Your knowledge in those areas are very, 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 very important. Okay.